So I will conduct. Thank you, Saima, for your help. And I will conduct the question and answer session. If there are any questions, please raise your hands. And my apology for a very long presentation. I thought I should try to cover as many points as possible.
I would like to ask something.
Yes, please.
Very good presentation, and you have covered up almost all the points which are required to establish this system. But I want to ask you, keeping in view that Tulu Islam Bazms are working, and we all are working collectively also. So how can we start this system within a Bazm practically?
Thank you for your question, sir. My own thinking is, and I think Allama Parwez has also touched it in some of his convention speeches, that initially it's a very slow process. And it takes a long time for individuals to develop or bring themselves to that higher level where they can fully conceive the system of rububiyyat and system of Deen and its finer aspects. And we should keep it in mind. And I always question this, that are we ready, if, for example, to the level of that self which can establish the system of Deen if power comes in our direction. And frankly, I don't consider that we have reached that stage yet, because it's a very slow process. Our thought process takes time to develop. We have to do deeds at the same time. And at the same time, we have to understand the man-made system. The man-made system is very complex as well. And as and when we make a start, that man-made system has to go through a certain transitionary stages to become a system of Deen, system of the video, in which self and meeting basic needs probably will be a simpler or an easier path. But taking it to the next step of development of the self will be a very difficult part, where people who are coming from the capitalist system, to ask them or invite them to change their thinking. So what Bazms can do is that those representatives who are running those Bazms, they should try to raise the level of their own self's developed state to a very high level, where they become fully convinced that without this system, mankind cannot solve its problems, or the problems like that verse from Surah Nisa, that they have to pray to Allah that send us some help. And if we see that verse is only appearing when Momineen has been established. When the Momineen was not established, these poor people were still suffering, but Quran has not referred to that. So there's a lot to learn before we can expect Allah to send some help in our direction. But my own conviction is, very frankly, I know this can look very hypothetically, it could look utopian as well, that we can get Allah's help if we raise the level of ourselves to that higher level, even in such a complex world of today. And if we keep working hard and stay together and develop ourselves, then we can. And Bazms should make an effort at their level as well as be part of this platform as well. Because in Bazms, particularly in Pakistan, they are under very difficult circumstances trying to share the message of pure Quran. That is my view. I don't know what is your opinion on that.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Zan.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much, Dr. Ejaz, for a wonderful explanation of the topic. I was in discussion with some of our friends in Norway and Sweden regarding the management system through which Nizam-e-Rububiyyat can be implemented. I have the argument that democracy is not the system in which we can implement Nizam-e-Rububiyyat. What's your view about democracy and Nizam-e-Rububiyyat?
The difficulty with the people who are living in the capitalist system or into the man-made system, democracy, end of the day, is the rule by majority. If 51 say this is day, even if it is a night, the day becomes night. And so it is still a majority rule. And the majority rule is always tyrannical. Now, Quran does not talk about the system of political system of the system of Deen. The Quran says that you should mutually consult each other. Right? So that is the Quranic way of looking at things. But this consultation has to be between those whose selves are fully developed. When I say fully developed, are a very high level of development, who understand the system of Deen and are fully convinced of the system of Deen. So democracy has nothing to do really with the Quranic way of thinking. See, if the permanent value, if Quran says justice is indivisible, do justice even if it is against your own self, then democracy can come and say the majority says this law should be made so that it can suit it can be favorable to the rich. And the Quran's values are absolute. These don't change. And these are for our benefit because these are applicable to everyone. The people who are at the helm of affairs, the Momineen at the top, they also eat the same dal roti which the ordinary man will eat. They will have a simple way of living. They will just manage the system on behalf of Allah. That is the important thing to understand. But for example, if you, me, and others, we join together, let's say 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever the people are, then we will be managing the affairs of our nation, our land, our people on behalf of Allah. Our opinion will not come into it. Whatever decisions we make in the light of the Quran will be very transparent to everyone. Their logic, their reasoning will be explained to everyone so that everyone is part of it. It will not be hunky-dory, I know. So now the question is, how are we going to get the power? That is the point which comes to our mind, is that how are we going to get the power to rise to that? And for that, I had covered it in our presentation on Iman and Amal Saleh, and two verses, if you get time, do read those two verses. 35 chapter, verse 10, and 24:55, which I referred. And then
Yes,
go back to the verse 2177, and you will see that Quran has given us the formula for that, for acquiring power. The power comes from Allah Himself. That is why Quran told Rasulullah that do not worry about the power. You keep doing what you have been asked to do. Just keep following the guidance. Keep following the procedure. The power will come. The power is inbuilt, I can say, into Iman and Amal Saleh. So Amal Saleh, when we do Amal Saleh, for example, when I do Amal Saleh and on a continuous basis, it should be with an aim to acquire power. It should be with an aim to be fully unhappy with the system in which we live and trying to replace it. So all these individuals who have come together, let's say on this platform, they all try their best to develop themselves to that level where power starts coming in their direction. We don't know. This is where Iman comes into it. So this is my understanding. Someone else, probably maybe Dr. Hamid, can throw more light on that. But my view is, my understanding is, and I'm fully convinced of it, that 35:10 clearly says that whole power belongs to Allah. Jamia, the word used over there is that whole power belongs to Allah. And even if we look at the pharaohs of the world also get power according to Allah's laws. They get power because there is no Jamaat-e-Momineen. If there was a Jamaat-e-Momineen of the earlier times, if they had behaved better later on and not given up the power, they would still have been continuing in the world. The mankind wouldn't have been suffering the way they are suffering because they decided to give up and started following their desires. And now the things have become so difficult that people become hopeless that Quran cannot be followed, or these thoughts start coming that it is individual salvation which we are talking about. Individual salvation question we should take out of our head. When we are working for the system of Rububiyyat and Deen, individual salvation is guaranteed. You get my point?
Got it, sir.
Because I mentioned in my presentation that when we do Iman and Amal Saleh and a stage comes where an urge is developed within us that I have to go and join up with those who are Momineen of this path, then that means that I'm out of that individual shell now. I'm now in a part of a Jamaat. I'm part of that group who are working for that higher aim of life. I don't know if you got this point or not, but this is something which is not theoretical or hypothetical or something. The Quran points to that. There is Allah hasn't given up His word and handed over completely to Pharaoh that he can do whatever he likes. No, He doesn't do it. And you and me have to develop ourselves to that level where we become eligible for His help. I can see it. So that is why this presentation I have put on those lines that otherwise this Rububiyyah thing whole is meaningless. If all of us are making individual effort and saying our namaz and roza and hajj and zakat and whatever it is and think that we will get a jannat over there, fine. That's a separate issue. But the issue over here is that those children, remember that verse I quoted at the beginning, those children, those women, those men are praying to Allah as we speak. Help us. We are miserable. Our needs are not being met. We are being exploited. We are being abused. And we are your creation. And we are waiting over here through democracy to bring it. We can't. Those who believe in democracy and think through democracy they will get power from Allah, zero chance. Zero, absolutely zero. Mark my words. I'm saying it very bluntly and this is being recorded as well. I've gone through these stages. I've gone through this. I had approached President Musharraf and others. They don't have anything about Iman in the first place.
Absolutely, sir.
They do not have Iman. And if somebody doesn't have Iman, it's futile to talk to them about the Quran. It's a waste of time. Total waste of time. Oh, I hope I have, unless you have you can express your own opinion as well. What do you think?
No, sir, I totally agree with you. And while I was discussing with that group, I can try to convince them that through this majority-ruled system, you cannot implement Nizam-e-Rububiyyat because their democracy is just capitalism.
Yes.
So by one or the other reason, they are trying to survive through it, keeping the people divided and depressed by the capitalistic rules, and the ruling class is ruling for last to over 200 years.
1300 years, 1200 years since
Well, the modern democracy, which actually says that the rule of the people.
There is no need, at least I don't feel depressed or frustrated or anything, but one thing is clear, and I'm glad you yourself have come to this conclusion. Our brothers and sisters who think on those lines, I hope at some stage they will realize it themselves. It's a slow evolutionary process through which human beings learn. And it's an empirical process as well because we do things on evidence-based. But don't give up. Keep telling them that it's not possible to bring Rububiyyah. Because for Rububiyyah, the first point is La ikraha fid Deen, qad tabayyana ar-rushd min al-ghayy. You have to be able to differentiate between wrong and right in the first place, between the zulmat and the light. Remember, Allah waliyulladheena amanu liyukhrijuhum minal zulumati ilan-nur. The Quran says that I am your wali if you are Momineen, and I'll bring you out of darknesses into light. And our brothers and sisters who think like that, they need some more light. So forgive them and overlook them and move on. It shouldn't discourage you. We have now this platform where you can come and discuss anything on those lines.
No, sir, it actually encourages me to talk to them again and again, because such friends are actually my friends, and they also belong to Tulu Islam Oslo group. So that's why I am keep talking with them.
Yeah, you should keep talking. Never stop the communication, because people are at different stages of their development, and at the end of the day, we have to, as and when the system of Rububiyyat comes or Deen comes, we will need people, and all these human beings are going to be very useful.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Hamid,
Thank you. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, क्या हाल है आपके?
बस ठीक ठाक.
Good to see you.
Same here.
मैं अभी रेस्ट में जाने लगा हूँ, आप इसको sum up करें.
No. What I'm saying is, don't try to convince your friends. All right. Because you are losing your energies trying to convince others. And this is how humans get distracted. And when you talk to them and you're in confrontation, after that you will feel your battery is almost empty. You're so drained because they take away your energy. Quran tells humans, read the last surah especially, he always alarm human from other humans. He does not alarm you from animals or planets. He tells you, be aware of humans. They will take away, they will distract you, they will put whispering campaign, they will change your mind, they will distract you from your beliefs. So concentrate on yourself to the highest level you can achieve alone. You see, society, this system will distract you. This media will distract you. People around you will distract you. People very close to you will distract you. They put doubts in you. If you tell somebody, I'm going to do this, they will, oh no, don't, it's very difficult, don't do it. The moment they put a doubt in you, your belief what you are going to do is shattered. So what you do is you actualize yourself alone in isolation. Iqbal says, be that drop of water in the shell and stay in that river of La ilaha to become illallah. You have to protect yourself in a way that nobody can touches you. The moment you put yourself into others, you're done, man. You're done. You're not gonna be you, because they're put. If you look at TV one day, all the news, what happens to you? If you know human psychology, so it's very important what we do. Look at, you see, we think we cannot develop in this kind of society, in the non-Quranic society, non-system society. Let me give you an example, which is a model for us, for humanity. Prophet Muhammad was in a society which is way worse than today's. Way worse. We are in a very beautiful time. He developed in this, keep believing what you believe, follow the Quran, and that's it. And when we say God has all the powers, means those laws has all the powers. How much you want to take with from each law, the moment you take it, you become powerful. You see, it's not that God has all the powers. It's the laws he has. You keep taking one by one in yourself and implementing and actualizing yourself, you become powerful and you automatically contributing towards harmony. We are concentrating on others and wasting our time. We are not developing further. We are wasting time to convince others. We are not fully developed. We are not fully grown, but we learn a little bit and we think, oh, I'm going to change the whole world. You can't do that. You continue to develop. It take it. So what I'm saying is, when humans should put efforts into themselves individually. Why God made prophet and then developed system? Those were models that human never saw. So they have to build some models to show them that the human can do that. But again, he said, La ikraha fi deen. You cannot force any human to impose any system. The moment you think, oh, this is communism, I'm going to impose. This is socialism, I'm going to impose. This is democracy, I'm going to impose. What's the result? Have you seen the results of that? People revolt because they don't like what you're telling us. I don't like what you tell me. No, I want what I want. Every human is unique. So what's the process then? Process is keep developing yourself to the max level, to the ultimate. You see, when we say self-actualization, what does it mean? Is once you understand something, it should become part of your daily life. It should practically should be demonstrating. We are telling something, we are doing something else. That's more dualism. So basically, once you are developing, take those laws, understand them to the highest level. It will be powerful to understand it. So to become powerful, you have to work hard in this life. To daily basis, you have to evaluate yourself, accountability of yourself, at what level you were yesterday and what level you are today. Did you learn anything new? Did you understand anything new? This is how you grow. You cannot just one day is the same, next day is the same. That's basically your 2 days should change from each other. So human development and human first, like hierarchy of needs from Abraham Maslow, he said you have a basic needs and then you have a deity needs. So basic needs is your home, shelter, food, all these basic necessities. Then you have a social needs. Then you have esteem needs. All these needs are still your needs, right? Basic needs. And then you get to, once you develop that self-esteem, self-worth, who you are, understand it. Once you understand it, once you develop that seed, the gohar, the pearl, you are strong. You see, first you were water. You by anybody you can be changed into anything. You put water in any glass, it will change the shape of that glass or that, right? But once you become a pearl, now you can't change the shape. I am pearl. I'm not a water anymore. So this is how you should think. If you are still getting manipulated and you decided you can't do it because they told you not to do it, this I'm telling you, humans are very, very devious. Very devious. So you have to protect yourself from them, especially very close to you, around yourself. So everybody has their vested interest. So people are jealous, people are envious, people are, we have to understand, the more you protect yourself from others, this, and eventually, it's Quran. That's what Dr. Ejaz said. Quran doesn't mention any system. So this is how you grow and you more people will grow, your influence will be there, and people will continuously do their things, and things will happen. You cannot force any human to do such things. Even if you bring Islamic Quranic society, there is a 75% around you who against it. They will break it right away.
Thank you very much for your elaboration. That's all. And Harun, you got a question? Yes, I can hear you now.
Democracy.
Now, a bit closer to your mic, please.
Just a point on democracy. There's 3 points very quickly from the Quran, but the first one is that, from what I've read, there's multiple parts of the Quran which state very clearly that most people will not understand, and most people, at least initially, most people will not have Iman. I think that sets a precedent that the Quran's not interested in majorities and minorities. The second point is, in the verses pertaining to jihad, the Quran states very clearly that if there are 20 amongst you, patient and persevering, they will vanquish 200. And if there were 100, they will vanquish 1,000 of the kafirun. So that, if there was a vote, then those Momineen would lose. So clearly, then that's Surah 8:65. So that states very clearly that Allah is not interested in minorities or majorities. And the third point is that Allah directly condemns the creation of parties and sects. He leaves it to two parties, Hezbollah and the party of Shaitan, and it's binary. There is no, anyone who's not part of Hezbollah is, not working for Allah or working as per His will or as per His laws. So those are the three things, according to the Quran, which directly undermine any concept of democracy. So then I guess the question is, why does democracy not work? And I think that's unfolding in front of our eyes very clearly, that first of all, these politicians, the narratives they create are totally constructed from behind the scenes and designed to create furious debate within predefined principles. And by doing that, you think that you're moving forward by discussing things, but actually you're being indoctrinated to accept fundamental principles. So, for example, if you take environmentalism, at the moment there's furious debate about environmentalism, but the fundamental concepts of it are that carbon is a problem and the economy has to be restructured according to that. So everyone accepts that fundamental premise and then it enters into furious debate over and above that. But the premise underneath is not actually correct. And that's what democracy does. It's a way of indoctrinating the masses. And we're seeing that very clearly with their systems of propaganda. And that sort of reality is coming out slowly, that actually politicians don't make policy. Policies are created by larger, unaccountable corporations behind the scenes and have always been doing so. But I just want to make the point that as per the Quran, it's very clear that making parties and making policies according to majorities versus minorities is against the Quran, that we should collectively consult the Quranic law, which is relevant to the policy, and then come to a collective conclusion. And we, being that central authority who have the highest or most developed iman and nafs, as Dr. Ejaz said. That was my point.
Thank you very much for your contribution. So thank you very much, and we call it a day. Have a good weekend.
All right.
And inshallah, see you next Sunday.